This meeting is being recorded.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? See them pretty
Hello.
faces. Oh, you don't have to show me your pretty face. It's okay. I
I
understand.
don't. Oh, there it is. Hi, Michelle.
Yeah, do you guys know each other?
No,
No,
no clue.
no, I didn't think so. Yeah.
Should we do intros?
Michelle, Lynn, Michelle. All right, so today, because this week's all about like clarity, okay? I really wanted to, you know, up the level of how we're getting clear and really simplify it. Because I see, I know Lynn and me were on a call earlier, and you could tell that there's some people that just aren't clear. This is mostly what I come across when I'm talking to people, like especially if I'm like talking to them one on one. It really comes out because if you ask them, like what's the one problem you solve, and at the end of the call you ask them what the one problem that they solve is, it's different almost every time. So it's like, okay, let's get some clarity in there. On Monday, it was about getting clear on what it is that you're doing and everything that you kind of are striving towards, what your desire is of your outcome, and everything. So what we're going to do today is really down into the tech stuff, and really kind of simplify that. And how I like to simplify it personally is through the power of one. Some of you may have heard it before. It's been around for a long time, but I think a lot of people really get thrown off when there's all kinds of different marketing chatter going on from every direction, and they kind of shift away from doing some of that stuff. So yeah, so how I came about this, doing a ton of research and talking to a lot of different coaches and consultants, and some that weren't even coaches and consultants, other people just in marketing. One of the biggest things is that everybody has so many different things in their tech world now to utilize and to use. Some of them are overlapping, and then they become overwhelming a little bit. And I've seen that time and time again. Even when I was doing some of the done for you stuff for people, I could tell that it was extremely daunting, or they used something similar to that and they didn't want to use something else because this didn't work for them, right? And so they had this belief around, this is what happened in the past, and they're bringing that fear into the now moment. So we're gonna shift away from that. Let's pretend for a second, like I gave a visualization on Monday. Um, that was a road that you want to travel on, and that road leads you to your vision, right? And then off to the right, you could see a garbage can, and it's on fire. I know dumpster fires don't have like the best the best feeling, but put all that stuff about what you believe happened in the past, put it in there. Okay, let's just release it 100%. Okay, and we'll come to this with an open mind, like I had to do as well, because my teachings were always around like you must do what everybody else is doing, do it this way or else it's not going to work. And when you carry that belief around, no matter what you do, it's not going to work for you. So let's cultivate that belief that whatever you do is working for you. Okay. A lot of you guys in this space already know that and practice that religiously. So keep doing it. Good job. All right. So let's release some of that tech overwhelm right away with the power of one. Right. So, what I would love everybody to do is take a piece of paper and pen and list out all of the tech stuff that you use, right? All of those different things that you're using. Okay. Once you're done listing out all those things, I want you to circle the ones that either have similar or the same type of um, uses of some kind. Okay. And then I want you to put a heart around the ones that you absolutely love using.
And we're talking in business, right?
Yes.
Or just in life?
Well, I mean, some of those are kind of cross-referenced, right? You have social media platforms and stuff like that. Some of that
Yes.
can be tech too, especially when you're posting. And we'll get into that in a little bit about those particular things. But yes, definitely put those down because they are part of your tech world right now,
Okay.
right? But if you write iPhone and you own an iPhone, and you put you circle that as I don't like using the iPhone. I don't know if I could do much. Yeah, I mean, you could have an iPhone and an Android, I guess, or go switch your phone or something. I don't know if I know what to say to it. I'd be like, hey, you're just gonna have to go back to landlines, I guess. I mean, it could be Zoom, it could be just about anything. For me in marketing, I used to have like, I don't know, I'd say 15. I'd even have different apps, all these different apps that I used as well. And these were different, different platforms and stuff like that to be able to do specific creatives and stuff like that. But I've kind of moved out of that. Michelle, you used to do a lot of creatives. I'm sure you probably got like 40 apps on your phone just for doing something like that. All right. So has everybody got some hearts on there? Yeah. Did you guys circle a bunch of them or just maybe just a couple? A bunch, all of them? Did you say all of them? Okay, well then we might need to look at, other ways, right? So once you have the ones, the goal here is not to really concentrate on the ones that that you don't love using. It's more so the ones that you do love, but at least you have a list of these are all the things that I do use, and you have a choice now. You can completely cut them out if they overlap in usage. I highly suggest that you pick one, right? You just pick one of for that particular usage, right? And so the power of one goes like this. You have one way to use a CRM, right? One CRM. You have one particular platform that you are using to engage, right? One main one, right? And you go all in on that. You have one specific way that you connect with clients, whether it be, DM, stuff like that. Okay. So, and I'll get into a little bit more in the details and about discovering that in a little bit. But we're going to take that list, right? So another question I want to ask you about that list is, if you took everything that doesn't serve you off that list, what would it do for you? I'm going to say this from a spiritual perspective, it would probably create a lot of ease later on, but immediately in my awareness, it would probably be a little bit anxious. Like, but I use that, right? But if you're not using it, right, or if it's just kind of sitting there, or if you only use it maybe once a week, maybe once a month, whatever it is, right? If it doesn't serve you very well, me personally, I just get rid of it, right? It really frees up my tech and my time, right? But if you're using it every day and it just frustrates the hell out of you, I would highly suggest moving towards something that you can put a heart around. And you may not have discovered what that is just yet. But as I go through this today, you're going to gain a little bit more clarity as to maybe you want to try something different and have that become exactly what it is that you just want to use for that one thing. Okay. Yeah, and I did want to remind people, more tools doesn't translate into more success. Every person that I really talk to that has a very simple system has probably the most success, especially right off the bat. We can grow in the tools when we scale, right? But in the beginning, we're going to focus the energy and polish this one thing that we're utilizing it, and then we're going to scale from there. And usually, you invite other people in to take over a lot of that stuff, right? All right, so the effort, so effortless marketing kind of comes from a specific flow. And this flow in itself also operates on the power of one. And right, so what's the one place that your ideal client or your people that you would love to serve and impact, where are they hanging out at, and how do they find you, right? So if it's Facebook and you know that they're there, I would look at polishing exactly how it is that that system works and bringing people through that, right? If it's Instagram, same thing. TikTok, Twitter. I know, Michelle, I think you use Quora now a little bit. No, no, okay, maybe not. I mean, some people do. It just wherever that they're hanging out at. And I want you to keep in mind that each one of these platforms has a specific demographic that's usually associated with them. Nowadays, pretty much everybody's on Facebook, and almost everybody's on Instagram. TikTok is, usually the majority of the demographic is between 18 and 25. It is growing a little bit, and they do shift around a little bit depending on the content and whatnot. But YouTube, for if you're teaching something, YouTube is like the one place that I would absolutely like suggest. And if you're not privy to that, we could talk a little bit later, and we can kind of expand that, especially for you guys, watching the replay on this. What's the one way that they connect with you, right? The way that you've kind of need to have a little bit of data in this. If a lot of people they reach out to you because you have, let's say you make a video or something on YouTube, or not YouTube, excuse me, on Facebook, and they immediately comment, right? Do you want to move them into a DM? Do they usually go, hey, I'd like to comment somewhere outside of there? Or do they usually go, hey, I'd love to be on a Zoom call with you and pick your brain, right? Wherever you're adding that value, right? What's the one place that they're going to connect with you, right? And most of that is what you would love. And then what's the one way that they commit? How do they say yes? Right? Is it you beating them over the head with a club and telling them that they must buy this? I don't suggest that. And that's not something that I would ever suggest to anybody, but I do know that people do it and they don't let them go, right? You just want to give massive amount of value, and then they usually move into, wanting to know more about what it is that you offer, right? Something like that, right? These are questions that, I had to ask myself in here as well. So usually, at least for me, if the marketing isn't feeling the best at the time, it's usually one of these areas that's kind of off and is in resistance to me, right? That's just what I've found personally. And I hear a lot of the same things from other people as well. And so it really getting clear on where they're coming from, how they're connecting with you, right? And how they're actually committing to what it is that you offer, right? Those are the three main things in there that I would really look at to gain that, right? And if they commit through a funnel or something like that, like you talk to them and then they want to learn more and go through a funnel of some specific kind, I highly suggest doing a very simple one way to do it, right? So they're gonna call you, then you're gonna ask them if they want to learn more. They say yes. You give them the link. This link goes directly to something that they would love to have, something that solves that one problem, right? Like we talked about on Monday, right? I know some of you weren't on the call on Monday, so we talked about this already. Okay, I'm not going to get into it. If you want, you can go back and look at it. Okay, so where are the people that you find? We're going to do a little exercise, all right? What's your favorite way to show up? Is it video? Is it writing? Do you love to write stories? Nowadays, it's usually a picture with a long story or a short story or a video with a long story or a short story, right? This is where you get to find out what you love. If you don't love writing a bunch of, big long story or something like that, then that's probably not the way that I would 100%, connect or show up. I personally love video because you get to feel my energy, you get to feel my emotion in specific things. You get to see me and I'm moving around, I'm engaging, right? I love doing that part of it, right? And I usually have, my wife write something in the thing, but it's always aligned with, what it is that's in the video, right? And doing that, I probably wouldn't use a script of some kind. Just be yourself, if that's what you plan on doing. All right. So those platforms, if you use video, TikTok, Instagram, Instagram is really big on promoting the reels and stuff like that. So that in itself is probably the best way that I would show up there if that's the videos that you do. If it's, like a picture with like you like to write out a story, I might look more into like Facebook a little bit just because you see a lot of that on there too. And they promote that a little bit more too. All right. So how are you connecting? How are you kind of engaging with them? Are you doing the DMs? Are you doing live Q&A? Right? Are you going live on there? Right? Do you love doing that stuff? Right? Do you love writing the emails? Stuff like that. Pick one of those things that you use to engage with them, to connect with them. Right? And not in a I want to sell you type of level, on a hey, I just want to uplift you in some way. Right? That's really the key, and that'll probably make you feel a little bit better about what it is that you're doing as well. And then when you are engaging with them, pick one simple way. You're going to hear me say the word one a lot, and you're probably going to see me point my finger like this a lot. Okay? Pick one way that you are going to uplift them, right? So what I do on a call is I literally tell them, like, what is the one problem that you have, the issue that you have right now? Because I want to help you solve it free of charge. I'm not gonna sell you on it. I literally just want to help you out, move the needle, right? That's how I do it. You guys can come up with your way on how you want to do it. I want to get them a better vibration. I want to make them smile. I want to make them laugh. Whatever it is, however it is that you're using to uplift them, right? And then the yes part of it. Ask yourself, if someone is already excited to work with you, how do you make it easy for them to want to know more? How are you making it easy for them? Right? Because in reality, I give pretty much everything away that I can. And then if they want to collapse time with it, that's when there's a commitment involved in purchasing something, right? Because in reality, they could do it on their own. So let's make it really easy for them to be able to collapse that time, right? I usually tell people something like this. If, I mean, you could totally do it on your own. If you want to do it within, it might take you a month, it might take you a year, it might take you something, something like that. But if you're willing to, want to move forward with this in a week, I have this particular thing that I offer, you could take it now, or, you can, keep having what you're having, right? And go through it, right? And that's simple. And then when they move from there, then they go through that very simple funnel, right? And we'll get into choosing some of the tools here in just a second. All right. So the tech stack in itself can be daunting when people start talking about funnels. They start talking about landing pages. They start talking about moving into the sales system of some kind, right? And information system, because we have the connection first, right? And then we're moving into some kind of way to have them commit, right? Um, Me personally, the way that I do it is I have a three-step thing, but it is one of each thing that they go through, right? They will go through, first is the information, right? If they wanted to learn more. The second is a choice, right? And the third is a commitment. Now I use Go High Level to do that, because I can pretty much do everything in under the sun with just that one thing that I would like to do, because it creates a very simple process, and I like simple, right? It can be daunting at first, but with a little bit of practice, you get it down pretty quick, and I actually love using it. But in that, right, that's the clarity of the message that you're offering. Then the choice in itself must be clear as well, right? They either want to or they don't, right? That's the choice that they have to commit. Once they know all the information and they've talked to you and everything else, then after that, it is, here is the actual price of it. This is the commitment part, full on committed, right? And then after that, a very, very simple um, onboarding process as well, right? And for me, that's just another connection where I ask questions about what it is that they truly desire, right? And then we're going to list all those out, and then we're going to go through them one by one, right?
Can I ask a question about that?
Yeah, sure.
So you connect with them individually for the onboarding?
Yep.
Okay.
You could do it. You could do it a couple of different ways, whatever way really feels good to you. I just like to connect with people because I want them to understand that I'm there for them, and then I'm able
Yep.
to actually remove that, and that I will be available and I'm committed to them. So then I want them to be able to really step into that deep connection.
Yeah, I love that actually. So I'm kind of thinking
You can
short
automate the
term.
process.
I'm thinking short term, but I'm also thinking more long term,
Well,
right?
go ahead.
Like Yuki is, he literally just he connects with every single one. There might come a time where that's not possible.
100%. And some of that is, and he was talking a little bit about that today too. You can audit whatever feels good to you at the moment of scaling. Now we're talking about scaling, right? In the beginning, when it's not polished, and you don't really have a complete, everything is working and everything is going on, but you do notice that it's starting to come together. I would suggest the connection part to onboard people, right? Afterward, you have that process polished down, then you can actually scale by automating or delegating through the teaching of how you polished it,
Makes
right?
sense. Yeah.
But that's where you create that lifetime type of client in the beginning is through that deep connection, right? And then after that, you could automate whatever you want, emails, all that other stuff to keep you in the forefront of their mind, even if they didn't decide to, sign up with you or commit to you at that moment. Then I would put them into an automated process. But every now and again, at least once a month, there's that, once a month, um, I would send them a video that just talks to them, right? This way it's not completely draining of your time, because when you have 500 people or something like that, or, in the beginning, you might not have 500. If you do, awesome. I would stick to the emails and then maybe just reach out to them via DM. Making a video for each one can be daunting as well. But make it personal and make it you, right? At least once a month when especially when you have a lot of people. All right, so that's kind of how I do it. So content kind of tools, I use Instagram. Okay, I pick that one platform. I go live every single day, and I give pretty much what I'm telling you guys right now. Things that I've learned, right? Things that may not have worked for me, and just questions to ask people to really engage them in becoming the best possible founder, CEO, business entrepreneur, conscious entrepreneur that they could possibly be, right? And that's just what I found is where I enjoy doing it, and also that's where my ideal clients are usually hanging out. That's to post content. Okay. You could do it however you like. If you enjoy doing one a week, do one a week. It's fine. Know that it's going to work, right? And there's more to it. I'm sure Michelle can clue us all in as to how the algorithm and all that works. Because I mean, I learned a lot from you about how Instagram is actually picking up who it is that you're engaging with. It's pretty interesting, especially in the beginning. Mine's probably got nothing but sports stuff and all kinds of different stuff in there. My For You page is like got all kinds of things in there sometimes. Um, but that's how I do it, right? If you choose YouTube, you know, uh, what my mentor says is, I do it once a week. He posts a 15-20 minute video once a week. I think now he might be up to like 3 times a week or something like that. But that's how he started out, so that he could polish in and see what it was, the engagement looked like, and all that stuff. This is to gain a little bit of that know, love, and trust, and so that you could polish yourself in the process as well. All right. Don't become too polished, just so you know. If you're super polished, I mean, you come out with $500 eyelashes and like a Gucci bag, and just like look like you freaking like stepped right out of like a Keanu Reeves movie. A lot of people, they might gravitate towards you, but it might not be for that. Right? Um, to build the relationship in the connection part of that, I use the threads part. I'll actually go into the threads of Instagram. And I'm just giving you guys an example of how I do it. You guys can do it however you like. If you found it in like a group in Facebook, by all means, go there as well. I do see a lot of groups kind of dying off. There's more spam than there is engagement. And, that could be kind of an issue. Just be aware of it. In that, I actually go there and I actually look for people that are having the issues that I can solve, right? I pick okay, this person just doesn't have clarity in what it is that they're doing, right? And I give them as much of me as I possibly can. I'll lay it all out there. And when you start doing that and you actually continuously, consistently show up as the person that is, answering the questions, and those people actually start implementing some of the things that you're guiding them towards, they automatically want to know more. Okay, they will instantly want to know more. Well, maybe not instantly. It might take them a week or so to kind of implement. Who knows? That's usually what I see. So in that is, get them exactly the result that they want when you're engaging the best you can, or the way, or your perspective on it, to help them shift and move the needle for them so that the transformation really starts happening for them. Okay, it's a really powerful way to do it. And it's not in a tricking way. It's not in a, let's grab my, 45-page pamphlet on how to make ice cream or anything like that. So, yeah, I know that one wasn't that funny. All right, so sales and booking tools. I'll say this about sales and booking tools. There are probably 50 billion of them out there. Billion. Find one that works for you in a simple way, right? And all of them claim to be simple. All of them do, right? Because I use Go High Level, it already has that integrated into it, and I could send them a link if they, choose to. Oh my God, I really want that, and I could send that to them, right? But I choose to, either way, I send them through the information, the commitment, right? So, or the information, the choice, and the commitment. I send them through that anyways, because for me, that creates a very strong way that people understand what it is that they are doing, right? When they're talking to you, sometimes they might be missing. Maybe they didn't have a question. Maybe you hit them in a place where they were just so freaking excited that you're in front of them that they want to buy, and that's great and everything, right? But what I found is that later on, they might have some more questions. They might not completely understand what's involved, right? Like when you sign up for this, illusion of money, it is 4 weeks long. It's 3 calls a week. It's the 3-hour commitment, right? I say that to the people, right? I actually say that to them, but it's also in the information as well, right? I want you to understand this is a 3-hour commitment, maybe another hour after that to implement exactly what it is that we're doing. Okay. So that's the way that I found it, that really creates that strong bond, because then they don't feel like, regardless of how it comes out, it's their perspective. If their perspective is that they didn't get enough information or they didn't quite understand, they might feel tricked in some way, right? I completely stay away from that stuff now. I used to do it 100%, and that's usually what I found. There was a bunch of questions after. All right. How is it that you could type something out in like a Google Doc and then you can't freaking read it? Like I have this Google and I'm like, what the hell is that word? And I'm like, I typed it. I didn't write it with my hand. Yeah, I spelled incorrectly. All right, so kind of wrap up the system part of that. One place that they're at to show up and focus on, right? One way that you're going to connect with them, right, in some way, right, and engage with them, and then one way that they can get more information and commit to you. Okay. If you're adding a bunch of other stuff in there, I don't suggest it. Not me personally. It just makes me crazy, especially when I go to like Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, and each one that I want to post in has some different way to post, and you can't post it, and then you got to shorten it, and then you got to flip that, pop that, and move that. It's just frustrating. I'm actually pretty good about Instagram stuff now. All right, so let's create a bit of like an effortless content plan. Okay, a little bit. So for me, I used to do a lot of batching. You guys know what batching is? Like where I create like 10 videos, right? And then I just kind of set them up in a content calendar, stuff like that. Which is great. Don't get me wrong. As I scale and things, become bigger, that works really well. in the beginning, to focus everything, I want it to be truly me that is talking about something that I got excited about and I was 100% ready to talk about it, right? Especially if it's about my life, right? And I found that I wasn't able to do that with batching and content creation and putting it in the content calendar myself. I wasn't getting excited about it, right? And then when I look back at it, I look at it and I go, man, I really wanted to create something today, but I know this one's going to come out at like noon. And then I want to talk about this so that I make another video and then I post it and then I post it in the energy of man, I got something else to talk about. And it just felt like this constant cycle. And so it makes me feel very accomplished to do like one thing a day, right? And this way I'm not like, filling up everything. And by the way, when you create that many videos, the phone really doesn't like it too much, right? Because I'm telling you, I have thousands of videos on my phone. My computer doesn't like it very much, right? And the way that I used to upload them was through YouTube, right? And then I download it and do all that. That gets kind of hairy too because now I have like 500 videos on YouTube that are unlisted, like nobody sees them. So it's just a way to kind of keep everything free and fresh, right? Um, make the one core message a week, right? Like this week for me is clarity. I make one core message per week. I go live on different parts of that of the clarity piece, right? Whether it be in your leadership as a business owner, in your tech systems and stuff, and also in um, how it is that you want to your end goal, right? Um, create one way to share it, right? So if it's in a reel, share it in a reel. If it's in a post, share it in a post. If it's in a live, share it in a live. Realistically, you could probably pick three if you're good at it. Now I do it in Instagram because I could share it immediately to Facebook if I want to. It's damn near seamless. So yes, that part of it makes it very, very simple. Okay. Um, have a natural call to connect on there, right? For me personally, I move right into after I'm done giving the value that I wanted to give on the topic that I wanted to give. I just ask people, I invite you guys to learn more about what we're doing. It's very impactful. You can click the link that I have in my bio, or you can go to click.wegivetheaim.com/IOM to learn a bit more. And I highly suggest that you guys sign up for the webinar that we have on Thursdays. It'll be very impactful for what it is that you're doing in your business. And I pretty much leave it at that, right? That just feels very natural to me. When I start getting into, buy this and, gotta, click that and do crazy stuff. I can't really come up with an example. I've tried so many different things. I remember one time I was in the video and I just stumbled. Like I was great up until that point because it was selling. It was a call to action, get it today. Like I had this thing in my head that was like, get it today. There's only like 4 spots left as of 2 o'clock today. Like you have to have this. Is gonna change your life, right? And I just immediately, as soon as that part came up, I was like, bah, because it wasn't natural for me. It completely went against everything that I was aligned with. And then I was like, this has got to stop, right? So be aware of the naturalness that you're in when you're giving your CTA. If it's natural for you to say that there's 3 spots left and you want to create some scarcity in there, I don't suggest it. It's not what I think anybody is in here for, but you can give it a try. Let me know how it works out for you. All right. So 30 pieces of content a week, if you're doing that, let me say this. When I did that many pieces of content a week, I did not find much time for anybody else, including myself, because it was always about the next content, the next content. Keep getting out there, keep getting out there. Now you can, if you like, to run an ad or something like that later on when you're scaling in things and you're becoming larger, run an ad. That content itself will get out to tens of thousands of people, depending on how much you put per day and how long, right? So it can be a very useful tool. So this will also create, when you do this at least, once a week, once a day, whatever it is that you choose, save those in there, and you could actually turn those into advertisements later if that's something that you want, because it's naturally you. It's not anything crazy. Once you've kind of worked out what it was that you wanted to say, or you found a really good topic that really talks about, that one specific problem that they're having, right? I highly suggest also create a video of some kind talking about the one problem and the one solution. One problem they have and the one solution that you bring to the table. Okay. I talked a little bit about it on Monday about the one solution. The one solution, and I'll say this again, the one solution is key, because this is what I found. If you are in the very beginning, especially if you're trying to figure out exactly what it is, the clarity of your offer and things like that, the one solution that you are looking for doesn't have 5 phases to it. Doesn't have 3 phases to it. Probably doesn't even have 2 phases to it. It just has one, right? After that beta program, if that's what you want to call it, that core program or that core offer that you have, you want to add another phase because people aren't quite, they want other transformations somewhere else in their life as well. You could build upon that core offer with a phase 2 and a phase 3. And like you said, a phase X, right? So use the power of one, I'm telling you. It works. All right, so let's get a little bit into the weekly action steps for the tech stuff, and then we'll go into any questions that you guys have. I may have already answered them. I don't know. We'll see. What is the one thing that you're going to let go this week in tech? Pick one thing. I know so for some of you, it might feel a little, oh God. Don't let it be your phone. Like I said, if it's your phone, we might have to talk a little bit. Right? But if you can't find anything that you absolutely can get rid of, then I suggest at least going to the thing that you love, right? And really getting into all the functions of that one thing that you love, right? Even if you don't want to if you're in marketing, for me, I can't really get rid of TikTok, but what I do is I just kind of stay away from it, right? I do post in there once a month. I do. Seriously. It's not nothing too crazy, but because I understand that there may be somebody out there that is really looking for that on there, right? Just to add a little bit of value. All right, what's one small shift that you're going to make this week that is going to help someone else ease through your business? What's the one thing that you're going to shift around the user experience that's going to help them? All right, so don't force all this stuff. Just feel it, okay? When you force it, it don't work. I know. I see a lot more people coming to me the instant that I just go, screw it. I'm just going to do it right now. It's just going to be amazing. and then I do it, and it's amazing. Imagine that. All right. So, any questions? No questions. I explained everything perfectly. Holy cow. I'm doing my chair happy dance. Yes, I'm bopping my butt too. 100%. Well, good. Well, you guys come off mute. Let's talk. Let's how'd that feel? How was that?
I like the power of one and simplifying.
Mhm.
Um, I think I was kind of like overwhelmed with so many platforms out there. And like now I'm like, okay, I think I'm just gonna go all in on IG and Threads.
Yeah.
Because Facebook hasn't been working for me, but you know, we can only know when we try it out. But yeah, there were a lot of other things that I had on my list, but I couldn't condense it. They all had such different like, you know, properties, but like, you know, the 40 apps of like content creation on my phone, I could definitely get rid of and just use CapCut. Um, yeah, and Canva, right? Canva's like every single day I use Canva.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, but yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah. Yeah. And it can feel expansive using the thing that you know best, right? And that has all those features that you're looking for. It may not have every single one of them, but you're willing to, because it's simplified. You just know it's going to work, and it doesn't have to be like this daunting task. I know all those apps, 100%, like Stitch, and like there's probably like, I don't know, there were like 40 more on my phone, and I got rid of them. And then I was like, I had one whole screen, you know what I'm talking about, with all the tiles, and it was
Mhm.
empty.
Oh,
I'd
that's nice.
scroll over, and it would be like all apps, nothing, all apps.
Yeah.
It's just really really freeing to see that and to feel that. So yeah, that's
Mhm.
awesome. That's awesome. Yes. By the way, the power of one works with everything. It literally works with everything. If you could pick one thing, if you ask yourself like, well, what is the demographic of the people that are magnetized to me, right? And then you go, well, out of all of those demographics, what's the one demographic that I want to talk to, right? The one age group, the one thing that they're going through right now, right? You could literally use it for everything to gain the clarity that you seek. That kind of, for me at least, it had me shooting off into other directions because I didn't have the clarity. And then once I started to use the power of one, I was like, oh, yeah, those people. Yeah, that particular platform. Yeah, that's the way that I want to serve them. So it's a very powerful tool. I forget where I learned it. It was a while back. The only reason why I said it, actually, what I brought when I brought it in here was because I was looking through an old notebook, and I was like, the power of one. I was like, oh, it just feels so amazing. So
Yeah.
thank you, Michelle.
Mhm.
You got Lynn.
So yes, the power of one. It's I'm not even sure where to start with that, to be honest. I and Michelle, you and I haven't talked in a while, but I'm relaunching, in a manner of speaking. That's kind of new this week. But like I'm now full speed ahead, like moving forward with that thought. But with rebranding, it's like, I just launched in November and I'm rebranding, but I'm not rebranding Rise in Spirit as per se. I'm sort of launching the coaching umbrella underneath that, which is this is going to encompass, the coaching aspect of what I do, because Rise in Spirit Academy is so much bigger than that. But I'm like, my website, and you're talking about the power of one, and I'm like, why do I need 15 pages on my website? How about a sales page? The power of one, the one sales page. So that's sort of resonating with me as we're going through this. How can I simplify my relaunch using this power of one? Right? I'm thinking yeah. So you've got me mulling over a lot of stuff on this to sort of to simplify it for me and make it effortless, because I'm feeling overwhelmed with just relaunching or launching, however we want to put it, because I'm like, well, I've got to change this and I've got to do this and I've got to do that and I've got to update this and I've got to update that. And I'm thinking, wait, stop, take a moment and breathe, woman. Like,
Yeah.
go into female aspect instead of the male energy all the time. And both of you know me very well that way, that I'm in the doing all the time. It's overwhelming.
Yeah.
Right?
I feel
So
that.
if I can do effortless, I would love to do that.
Yeah. So to that point, so the way I kind of switched it, and my website's actually just going to kind of go on the back burner a little bit. I'm actually going to take it off. Well, I might leave it up there for a little while. I'm not 100% sure. It just doesn't feel
And
like.
is that in Go High Level still?
Yep.
Okay.
So what I did was I created that 3-step landing page, right? It has just the one page of information, one choice to make, and then one offer, right? One commitment. And that's just how I was like, this feels just right. It just feels very, very easy. And the people that I actually had go through some of it, they were like, wow, this is actually really good and it's really easy. I think Michelle, I think you went through it as well, right? And that to me is the true embodiment of simplicity for the user, right? For your client. Because
Mhm.
when I come to I mean, they say, you want to bring people to a landing page because this way it doesn't distract them with all the other things, the offer page, the about me page and all that other stuff. So if you put and you structure it correctly, right? We talked about the structure. I'll talk a little bit about the structure here. So there's there's a structure that Russell Brunson came up with called the perfect webinar framework. Well, technically, this particular framework can actually work for anything, right? And it's your story, the vehicle that you use, the transformation that you made. There, then you're gonna address their internal limiting beliefs, their external limiting beliefs, and then anything going on with the vehicle, right? Exactly what you're going to just kind of circle back around to the transformation. Technically, that in itself, if you structure it as that, he structures his books like that. A lot of people use this framework for their websites, for their landing pages, for everything that they got going on. If you go to the landing page that I have, it's structured just like that. It has what I went through, how I came to the aha moment, right? What it is.
Can you share your link to that? Would you mind?
Yeah, it's click dot we give the aim.com/IOM.
Thanks.
Yeah. And that I did that because it walks people through the journey of how I learned and earned everything, and then the journey that they're going to take. Right. And it's an extremely powerful way to connect with an emotion that they may be having. Now, I didn't do it because I wanted to resonate with them. I did it because it resonated with me. Right. And then I gave them a choice at the end. And that's the ultimate. That's what he calls it, the stack and close. For me, it's the choice and commitment.
Yep.
Right? It doesn't have to be over daunting. Don't get crazy. Because if you actually look at his framework, there's a whole nother series of like hours upon hours of how to do the stack and close.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, don't get me wrong, like when you're in the online space, it's a really, really good tool. However, I want to make it simple for people, right? Without using fear and scarcity and all the things that have been taught to us. So, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you guys have any more questions? Anything else you guys want to add? No? Okay. Well, I really, really appreciate you guys being here. And yeah, this is going to live in the Illusion of Money workshop. That'll be in the classroom. So if you want to go back and watch this, I'll add a little bit of notes on here. I may edit it just a little bit, but I think you guys have been, you guys didn't drop a bunch of F-bombs and stuff, like I do. So it should be good.
Thanks,
Love you
Russ.
guys.